Hey guys, this is Roxy, the Firewife Lawyer Mom, and today we're going to talk about scheduling. So before I get to it, I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer. I think there's two types of people in the world. There are the people that live and die by a schedule, and there are people that you hear the word schedule and you literally are like, there's no way I could do that. And they shut down because they're just not schedule people. They like to fly by the seat of their pants, more spontaneous. And I get all of that stuff. But I have found, because I have done, the living by the seat of my pants and not having a schedule versus being on a schedule. And I have found that you do get more freedom when you have a structure to your day. And it's just really important, especially if you're juggling a lot of things. So whether you're a working mom, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you work from home, you do need to have some kind of structure in your day because you won't get as much accomplished. That's the bottom line. And so if you're somebody who doesn't like the whole scheduling thing, I'm hoping that my solution will give you guys some kind of inspiration to at least try it and see if it works for you. So kind of like my journey on scheduling is, my life really started to get complicated. Not so much when my children were small, like little babies, even though they do take up a lot of time. But it started to become much more needed for me to be on a schedule when my kids got older, when they started to get into extracurricular activities. Because, as a working mom, it's hard. You have to arrange for the kids to be, picked up from school, take them here, take them there. So it definitely does get a lot more complicated when your kids get a little bit towards that age where they start to have extracurriculars. And also I found that on the days that I was the busiest, my house was a disaster. So, I would just have a crazy week. My laundry would be backed up. My house was a mess. And, no one likes to get home from a long day at work. No one likes to get home from a long day of running errands, taking kids to extracurricular, to a house that's like a disaster and a mess. So I'm going to show you guys just like full disclosure. This is what my house looks like right now. And it is like 1:30 and my house is pretty clean. I mean, it's all cleaned. My dishes are done. My house looks like if someone came in, like the pest control guy or anyone, it's not a disaster. There's not underwear on the floor and kids' toys everywhere. And the reason why my house looks like this, because a lot of people that come over, sometimes they're like, how is your house always looking clean? Like, seriously, what are you doing? And honestly, it's not very complicated. I'm just living by a schedule. So I have tried different types of scheduling, different types of ways to structure. So I found that doing a schedule hour by hour. So like, okay, I wake up at 5, I take a shower at 5:30, I get the kids lunch at 6. Living by that for me was way too structured. So I couldn't keep up with it because, sometimes you wake up in the morning at 5, 6 o'clock and you kind of want to like just stay in bed for like 10 minutes and not, kind of like warm yourself up to getting out of bed. I totally get that, people. So I find that if you do those hour by hour schedules, it's just really hard to keep up with it because the moment you're like 10 minutes behind, you're like, oh, forget it. I'm done. I can't do this, and you give up. So I kind of looked on Pinterest a few months ago and found this really cool idea of doing a block schedule. So the block scheduling is basically setting aside times throughout the day, chunks of the day, and having to-dos during that time so that you can get accomplished the different things that you need to do throughout your day. So I'm going to kind of show you guys my block schedule. So basically it's just like, think about when you had block scheduling at school, or if you have like, certain people that have a job where, you have morning meetings. And then after that, you have your computer desk time. And then the afternoon is reserved for, follow-ups or whatever. You kind of live through a block scheduling, even though you don't even know you are sometimes already. So what better way to incorporate that into your personal life? So I'm going to show you how I do it, and hopefully this will inspire you guys. So this is my block schedule, and I can probably create this. I created this really easily on Word. I just did, text blocks all the way down, and created it. It's really easy. So I'm going to show you guys my day, and I'm going to move the camera here so you guys can see. Sorry if this is a little. Trying to flip it over. All right, so this is my block schedule. And I'm sorry if the camera's a little shaky because I don't know how to flip it. Listen, people, I'm a dinosaur. I'm trying to figure this out. So this is my block schedule, and I'm gonna go through it and kind of give you guys hopefully some ideas on what I do, and hopefully, obviously another disclaimer, everybody's schedule is different. Like I've said to you guys before, I'm a stay-at-home working mom, so I work mostly from home. I do meet with my clients a few times a week at my office. I have a virtual office where I meet my clients, and I do most of my desk work, lawyer work at home. So that's kind of me. Like I said, I'm an attorney. I practice in real estate and family law. I do some estate planning as well. So juggling my work and my personal life is really important, because if I'm not disciplined with having a schedule, I won't be able to get as much done as I need to get done. So, and obviously, when I started working as an attorney from home, it was really hard not to be distracted by the load of laundry that's sitting like on my bed that needs to get done, because I know I had to get to work. So I found that when I split my time up into different chunks, that I'm able to be 100% involved, 100% focused on what I'm doing at that time. So I'm going to stop this video because I'm going to flip the camera over so you guys can see my block schedule. All right. Okay, so I flipped it, and now I'm ready to talk to you about my block schedule. So if you see, I have, let's look at the top. So I have the day broken up into different blocks. Usually I wouldn't recommend you doing more than 2 to 3 hours at a time within the block. If you kind of have to do it, you have to do what you have to do, but I would recommend between 2 and 3 hours you divide the blocks into those kind of increments so that it's manageable. It's you don't get lost in doing things on one block and then you don't move on to the next one. What I do is I set actual alarms on my phone to remind me hey, this block is done. It's time to move on to the next one. And whatever it is that I haven't completed in this block, I don't do. I just move on to the next one. You've got to move on, people. So just to kind of go through, and again, everybody's schedule is different. So my schedule is, like I said, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so working mom. So I have it like this. If you're somebody who works full-time, then obviously your work block, which is my work block is here, is going to take up more hours in the day. So you can still divide it and it's still totally fine. So, okay, so I have my morning block. So I wake up at 6 a.m. Cannot wake up earlier than that. I know there are these crazy people that say that if you wake up at 4:30 in the morning that you'll be uber successful. Okay. People, this is reality. I can't do it. So 6 a.m. is the best I can do, realistically. So I wake up, I do my prayer and my reflection in the morning. I feel like, I'm really working on my faith journey. I'm Catholic, in case, anybody wants to know, but prayer and reflection. I usually read some scripture at that time in the morning where my kids are still kind of waking up and it's still quiet in my house. The next thing I do is I make my bed. Making your bed, so important to do the first thing in the morning, your feet hit the floor, make the bed. Because if not, it ain't gonna get done, trust me. I get dressed, and when I say get dressed, I just throw on whatever I can throw on. This isn't what I'm gonna wear for work. This is just to get my kids through car line. We do spelling and any other tests that the kids are gonna have that day. We get that done. So I'll quiz them in their spelling words and whatever while they're eating breakfast. I unload the dishwasher, super important. Dishes from the night before, quickly just put them away. Sometimes I have the kids help me if they've gotten all their chore charts done, which I'll do a separate video on the chores I make my kids do, which is amazing. So I pack the kids' lunches. As you've seen on some of my Instagram posts, I do a lot of pre-lunch prep at night. So this really takes me about 15 minutes to heat up the stuff and to put in the cold stuff and the ice packs. I straighten up upstairs. So while my kids are eating breakfast and getting their clothes on and doing their stuff, I go upstairs and I just, my kids are required to make their beds in the morning. Even my 4-year-old, yep, this is reality, people, they can do it. They make their beds in the morning and they straighten up anything. So pretty much what I'm doing is just kind of going over and making sure it looks nice. So those zones, and I can talk about zones in another video, but I divide my house into different zones, different areas that I make sure are straightened up so that probably by like morning time, my house is pretty much looking wonderful. So I clean that zone upstairs. So I go upstairs, I straighten up anything, anything that's on the floor, whatever, get that done. I clean breakfast. So this is all between 6 and 8 a.m. I put 1 load of laundry in. I'm definitely going to do a video about my idea on laundry. It's not even a video because it's just super simple. If you guys are doing laundry all in one day, you're running yourself ragged and wasting a lot of time. I'm a working mom, so I used to do all laundry on Saturday and I spent 4 hours like folding the Mount Everest pile of laundry, and it was super annoying because it was like 4 hours of my day. If I had a birthday party that day, then I was doing it at night, and then I was just like not really enjoying my weekend because I was worried about doing laundry. So if you do 1 load of laundry a day, you shove one big bag of laundry in there every single day, by Friday you're gonna have very little laundry to do, and it is a game changer. So definitely I throw 1 load of laundry in the wash. I pull out dinner. If you're not pulling out dinner, you're gonna forget. And I always do, this is something that I've always had a lot of trouble with, is that like 5-6 o'clock comes and I'm like, oh God, what's for dinner? So I pull out dinner and get that done. So if I have meat I need to thaw out, if I have like pasta I'm gonna do, I pull the pasta boxes out, make sure I have all of my ingredients that I need, do all of that. Then I take the kids to school. My husband is a firefighter, so when he's off shift, he does kid pickup and drop off. That's kind of a deal that we made, where it's like you do the pickup and drop off, which is great for me because on the days that he is on shift, I'm pretty much, and a lot of the fire wives that may be listening to this video totally can relate, but we're pretty much single moms for 24 hours while our husbands are on shift saving lives. So when he's home, he does this part, and it really gives me an opportunity to catch up on a lot of stuff. I take the kids to school and the kids are doing their clipboards. Then I have my outing block, which this is the block that I schedule all doctor's appointments for myself. Any doctor's appointments, anything that has to do with going outside, I do at this time. Because I find that when you block it all in this time frame, you're not like, cutting into your day when you have to leave for appointments. So I don't even care if, unless it's like I have the flu or Ebola and I need to get to a doctor immediately, it can wait. So if they don't have availability between 8 a.m. and 10:30, I reschedule for another day because this is it. So usually my outings include like going to the post office, exercising. I do morning mass. I'm Catholic, so if I exercise, I do shower and I dress up for the daytime. So even if whether I go, run errands or I do grocery shopping or whatever, I come home and then I actually get dressed for the day, which means like I wear clothes that makes me look like a human, which is so important. And I put makeup on, I'm actually getting ready. So even if I sit in my office, like I still am not in my pajamas, because I find that if you're in your pajamas all day, you're gonna act like you're in your pajamas all day. So I do get dressed up even if I don't have a meeting. I also have here, sometimes I have to go to court, so I will do that, in the morning if I can schedule it myself. This is, the perks of owning your own law firm. But sometimes I have hearings all over the place, and like I said, This is what I do ideally for the most part. There are obviously crazy days that you have, a kid's activity or you have to volunteer to do a book fair or whatever, and that's okay. This is just my framework. So I want you guys to understand that. This isn't like exactly what I'm married to every day. So I put laundry to dry. So that laundry that I put in the morning, I put it to dry. I check work emails and I make a list of return phone calls. So I make sure to, anybody that emailed me or called me the afternoon before, which like was after my work block, I usually return the phone calls that day because I can't schedule any phone calls past 2:30 because I have kids in the car, they're screaming, it's crazy. So I usually reserve those for my work block. Then I have my work block, I return my emails, I do my work to-dos. Right before I pick up the kids from school, I prep their afternoon snacks. For some reason, my kids, when they come into my car, it's like they've been in the Sahara Desert. They haven't eaten in weeks. It's been 40 days. Mommy, I'm starving. Mommy, it's crazy. So I have to have snacks like ready for them because they are just like little animals with the food. So I prep them, I put them in the car because usually I'm going from school to an extracurricular. So I make sure those are all prepped and packed because what happens is if not, you end up using a vending machine, going through the drive-thru, spending money. It's crazy. And I am really big on budgeting recently. My husband and I are trying to save up for some stuff, so I can do a separate video on that. I do phone conferences on the way to school. So this is how so my work block, I usually try to reserve for like my desk time, and phone calls you really can do anywhere. So I, use my phone and I do my phone conferences on the way to school. It's about like 25 minutes that I have from my kids' school to my home or my home to my kids' school. So I do it then. On my husband's work days or non-work days, he picks up he picks up the kids. So I work until a little bit later during that time. Okay, now we have the after school block. This is like what I call the witching hour because it is literally like when the kids are home, I'm prepping dinner, I'm cooking dinner, I'm going to extracurriculars, I'm schlepping them over here, going over there, it's crazy. So like I said, I just stick to what I need to do for the block. So I usually start to prep dinner at 5:30. I find 5:30 is like the magical hour that if you can get your dinner started at 5:30, usually by like 6:30, I'm pretty much done, depending on what the meal is that I have for that day. But my kids, my goal is to get them eating at 6:30 the latest. The kids play outside, so we usually have extracurriculars Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a little bit on Thursday. So whenever we have any free time, I always let them go outside, kind of, release some energy from school, whatnot, and do it. Lately, it's been really, really hot outside in South Florida where I live. So, we try to wait till the sun goes down, but if we can do it, we do it. Then from 6 to 9 p.m. is our bedtime block. So that is when the kids are finishing dinner, they pack their bags and homework for the next day, they lay out their clothes. That's a huge one. Definitely teaches responsibility when they have to pack their own bags, make sure their folders are in there, make sure they're, whatever, if they need an art shirt or they need, to bring share and tell, all of that stuff is during this block. So what I usually do is I sit down and I have dinner with my kids, and once I'm done eating, and they kind of take a little long, especially my 4-year-old, to get her dinner in her belly. I have to be like, take a bite, take a bite, take a bite. I mean, I know how many of you can relate to that. So what I do is instead of like sitting there with her, I will start washing dishes while they're finishing up their, sides or their dessert. But the main meal, I try to sit with them, no cell phones, and we talk about our day. We talk, sometimes I'll read a devotional book and we'll talk about a scripture passage or something during the dinner table just to spark up conversation, make sure that I'm connecting with them every single day. and knowing about what's going on with them, what's going on at school, with their friends, whatever. So once we're all done with dinner, my kids will go in the playroom, and their job is to clean the playroom. The playroom needs to look sparkling amazing for them to have crossed it off of their chore chart. So they clean the playroom. My older daughter helps me wipe down the table, the dinner table, and then I do a prayer time. We do tuck-in time, where we just kind of, have special time set aside to just, bond with the kids, pray with them, read them a book, whatever. And then that laundry load. Remember the one that was all the way over here in the morning block? Well, that laundry load is already dry because I had put it in the dryer. So what I'll do is I will quickly just sit down with the, watch TV or whatever, and just fold that laundry. What I'll usually do with the laundry is I'll put it in a basket, and I divide my laundry into my kids' laundry and my laundry. So I can talk about that in another video. I'm already going long on this, but I do I lost my train of thought. Okay, so yeah, so with laundry, I fold that little, basket of laundry. I put the folded, for the kids, I put their folded clothes on their dresser, and it's their responsibility to put it away. So the pajamas go in the pajama drawer, underwear goes in the underwear drawer. They pretty much have figured it out, but I always have to continuously remind them. So I do all of that. Then my night block begins at 9. So, filing emails. So that means that so my Outlook, I don't know about you guys, but my Outlook and my email box is always I have 5,000 emails that I haven't checked. So it gets very annoying because, you've got all these emails in your box. So what I do is I take half an hour a day and I delete 1 week worth of emails. So I go through 1 week's worth of emails in half an hour, and I just click, delete, or I file them in a folder. I find that when you do that, so if you do 1 week of emails in 30 minutes, you pretty much can get through 2 or 3 months of backed up emails in a couple of weeks. It's really awesome. So that's kind of a little strategy that I have. I prep some quick breakfasts. I lay out my clothes, clothes for the kids. Well, they have to do it themselves. Then I have my nighttime. My nighttime block is 9 to 10:30. So what I do here is I fill the coffee pot because nobody wants to wake up and have to sit there and pour the ground coffee and get the water and blah, 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 blah. I fill it so that literally when I wake up, I switch it on and the coffee is moving, because if I am not drinking coffee, people, I can't function. I run on coffee and Jesus. That's what I say all the time. So I lay out my clothes, I watch a show, and I spend time with my husband. We get ready for bed together. That's super important for a healthy marriage, that you get ready for bed together, that you go to sleep at the same time. Trust me, it's amazing for marriages. I look at my calendar and my schedule for the next day. So I usually will grab my phone and look at what's on the calendar. Me and my husband kind of talk about it, what's going to happen tomorrow. This is it. And then we already have our marching orders, who's going to go where, who's going to pick up who's going to get dinner out. We usually have that game plan discussion right before bed. And we pray together. Couples that pray together stay together, okay? That's just, need nothing more to say about than that. And then I do my brain dump. So have you guys ever had those nights where it's you can't shut your brain off because you've got all these to-dos, oh my God, I gotta, drop this off the dry cleaners. I have to go and make sure that my kid has their share and tell for the letter U tomorrow, which is actually what I have to do tomorrow. I have to do this, whatever it is that you have to do. Sometimes all those things in your mind will prevent you from falling asleep. So if you have a little notebook by your nightstand that you can open up and just brain dump anything that is in your brain, that's so huge for peace of mind and going to sleep. So if there's anything in my brain, I dump it and then I go to sleep, and I have a block of just see? So this is my block schedule. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, post it on the comments below, and I will definitely try to get to them. And if you want any other ideas for scheduling, if you want me to do any other videos, please put them in the comments. All right? Take care. Hope this helps. Love you guys. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, FireWifeLawyer911. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.